Good evening, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. Breaking news. The father, Colin Gray, of the presumed school shooter in Georgia, the school shooting suspect, Colt Gray, has been arrested and charged with multiple crimes in connection with the shooting. There's going to be a news conference coming up in just about 5 minutes. And we're going to bring you the news conference live. Let me show you this breaking news right here. Right here. Oops, hold on. Right. You'll see it in a second. You'll see it in a second. Right there. There. In coordination with District Attorney Brad Smith, the GBI has arrested Colin Gray, age 54, in connection to the shooting at Appalachia High School. Colin is Colt Gray's father. He is charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, 8 counts of cruelty to children. It had been reported by multiple outlets. Well, CNN had reported earlier that they were hearing that he may have, what was the actual nature of the CNN report? It was that there were a couple of outlets suggesting that he may have bought the gun for his son as a gift in 2023. So CNN had reported that the father, hold on a second here. CNN reported that the father told investigators he had purchased the gun used in the killings as a present for his son in December 2023, just 9 months ago. CBS had reported that, CBS News was reporting that that was being investigated, whether the gun had been given to his son as a gift. Okay, so we're going to cover this news conference coming up. Let me get that on the screen for you. Hang on a moment here. But there is a news conference coming up in about 2.5 minutes, and we will get you the details on this, and we'll talk about it. But breaking news tonight, again, the father, Colin Gray, of the presumed school shooter, Colt Gray, has been arrested and charged with multiple crimes in connection with the school shooting, including 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. CNN is reporting that Gray told investigators that he had purchased the gun used in the school shooting as a holiday present for his son in December 2023. So we are waiting to hear more here. And give me 1 second here. Let me just pull this up here. Yeah, there will be a press conference, news conference coming up in about a minute or two is when the news conference is supposed to start. Okay? So we're bringing you live coverage. Thank you to all of our moderators. I really appreciate our moderators being here, just rushing on the air with this live breaking news. Just came out, was just announced 27 minutes ago. They had previously said no news conferences today. They were expected. Well, that changed when this news came out. Hang on a moment. Again, charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, 8 counts of cruelty to children. I would assume there will be some more explanation of the charges and the reason for the charges when we get this news conference. Thank you so much to Crazy Yoda for your support, and Annie L. and PZ Wheats and Earth Citizen 3, bringing you live breaking news coverage here of this. People were wondering, and some of our chatters had been wondering if this might happen. I'm surprised. I did not expect it to happen so soon. But we just started hearing these reports about the gun, like in the last couple hours. Again, CNN said that the father told investigators he bought the gun that was used in the shooting as a gift for his son last December. A reminder, police had interviewed the son and the father over a tip that the FBI got that a threat had been made to do a school shooting at a middle school in 2023, and police had interviewed Colt Gray and his father in May 2023 over that allegation. Ultimately, police determined that they could not ascertain whether that allegation was true or not. So further action was not taken. So again, press conference supposed to start. It's supposed to start at any moment because it is now 8 o'clock Eastern time.
The GBI has arrested Colin Gray, age 54, in connection to the shooting here at Appalachia High School. Colin is Colt Gray's father that was arrested yesterday. He is charged with the following: 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Mr. Gray, these charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon. This is a very difficult time, as we know, for students and parents, and so many, I know, of students and parents here in this county and around this state are afraid. You all have likely seen reports of incidents of other students making threats today at various schools around our state. In each of these incidents, police, law enforcement took charges, they made arrests, acted very swiftly, as we take incidents like this very seriously across this state. This is a time for all of us as a community and a state to come together and remain vigilant. Students must be supported and encouraged here in this community and across this state to contact a member of their school faculty with any and all concerns of suspicious activity that they may see. Local, state, and federal law enforcement will continue to work together around the clock in relation to this incident here and any other incidents that come up around this state that raise concern to the safety of our students, faculty, and citizens here in the state of Georgia. Additionally, Colt Gray, that was arrested yesterday for this incident, has now been charged with 4 counts of felony murder. And again, we will continue to work tirelessly to complete this investigation as we move forward. I will go ahead and mention to you, and as I say sometimes, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you. As y'all all know, that this is a murder investigation. It is a very serious investigation, one that we take serious, one that we will continue to diligently work on and be very thorough with it with the GBI and our local partners here. So you'll have to forgive us if we don't answer a lot of the questions that you ask. I know you have many, and we wish we could answer many of them for you, but we still obviously want to maintain the integrity of this investigation because it has a long way to go for it to be finished. Again, I also want to remind everyone that we need to continue to pray and support the victims that were involved here, the school teachers, the faculty, the students, obviously those that lost their lives, their families, and those that were injured. So I'd like to call on the sheriff to come and give you a brief update on the status of those that were injured from yesterday's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Hosey. As Director Hosey said, I'd like to say that obviously we're lifting up those families. Our hearts are hurting for them, our kids, our students, our teachers. But the 9 injured, I am very happy to say will make a full recovery. And that's a testament to the response that we had, in my opinion, the response that medical staff responded with, in my opinion, and we're very happy to say that they will make a full recovery after that response. Again, please lift up our community. Please keep these children, these teachers, We call them teachers, but I call them heroes. We met with them today. Emotions are very high, obviously, but we told them that we love them, we love our teachers and what they do, and we're very happy at the fact that they stood in the gap between evil to protect their children, and we want to include them in the lives that were saved as well yesterday. But I wanted to report to you that all 9 people that are injured will expect to make a full recovery. Thank you.
Are they still in the hospital?
Several of them are still in the hospital. Some have been released.
And Director, can you please explain, did the father actually give the gun to the suspect?
Well, I'm gonna leave it as how I mentioned it in the release, that he knowingly allowed him to possess the weapon.
Director, can you tell us about how the arrest happened today? Did you turn himself in? Did you guys make contact with them? How did that go with investigators this afternoon with that arrest?
I'm honestly not familiar with the details. All I can tell you is that he is in custody at this time.
And is it likely anyone else will be arrested in this case, or is that still just
It's difficult to say at this point in time. We're obviously still investigating this, following all leads, all evidence, and we'll set to see where it takes us as we progress forward.
Director, do you believe that the arrest should have been made sooner?
The arrest was made when we had the probable cause to make the arrest.
Do we know when his first court appearance will be?
I'm not sure, no,
Did
ma'am.
the dad bring him to school?
I'm not sure about that either. I'm sorry.
Are you able to explain the charges and how he has more charges than the suspected shooter?
Not in great detail. The biggest thing, as I mentioned earlier, is that he is in custody at this point in time. His charges are directly connected with the actions of his son and allowing him to possess a weapon.
Sheriff, will he be housed in your facility? Is that where he'll be held? How does that move forward?
He'll be held in the Bexar County Detention Center.
Will his mugshot be available tonight, or will it take some time until tomorrow to get his mugshot?
It depends on how long it takes us to book him, but if it's available, we can get that to y'all tonight.
Sheriff,
If not tomorrow.
You said some good news that some have been released. Do you know the numbers of patients that have been released, victims?
I don't want to speak to that because I don't know the exact number, but I know that I want to just report that all 9 would make a full recovery and be able to leave the hospital.
Sheriff, for those 9 people that were injured, do you know if they are a mix of students and teachers or staff, or are they just students?
I believe 2 were adult teachers, and the rest, which would be 7, would be students.
Director, can you explain whether there's precedent for charges like this?
I'm sorry?
Can you explain whether there's precedent in the state of Georgia as far as the GBI is concerned for the father or parent to be charged for the crime?
I don't have any details on any history of it, but I would venture to say it's not something new.
Can you tell us about the evidence that led to these charges?
No, ma'am, that's part of the ongoing investigation. I apologize.
Sheriff, after all this time with him being able to talk with investigators, you were pretty strong yesterday. We were saying this was an evil act. It was very sad, obviously, but looking back at what the 14-year-old's been able to say to investigators over the last 24 hours, can you reflect on just what this community is facing after what he allegedly did at this school?
What we're facing, heartbreak. We're heartbroken. A young person brought a gun into a school, committed an evil act, and he took lives, and he injured many other people, not only physically but mentally. But I'm proud of Bexar County. I'm proud of our superintendent. I'm proud of these teachers. I'm proud of these schools. And I'm proud of where I live. And we'll get past this. If you see behind me, up here on the hill, we got a vigil going on at our flagpole. I welcome you to go see those kids and those young people that are hurting.
Director, can you please explain whether you're still expecting more charges?
I think I answered that earlier. Our investigation is still ongoing, so we'll see where things go with our investigation, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much. That's all we have for tonight. Continue to follow the GBI on X. Please monitor our website. We did not anticipate another update, but as you can see, it's fluid. Things are developing. Again, we appreciate your patience and your support and your continued prayers for the victims. Thank you.
All right, so as you just heard, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has arrested the father of the presumed Georgia school shooter, Colt Gray. Colin Gray is the father's name. He has been charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. According to the GBI, the reason for this is that he knowingly allowed his son to possess the weapon. Now, there's going to be more to it than that, but that's the extent of what the GBI is saying right now. They would not go into the evidence. They would not go into the details. Just a reminder that CNN was reported earlier today, a couple hours ago. CNN said that the father told investigators this week that he had purchased the gun used in the shooting as a holiday present for his son in December of last year, just about 9 months ago. Again, CNN is reporting that the father told investigators that he had purchased the gun, which, according to investigators, is an AR platform style weapon. The father, according to CNN, said that he had purchased the gun for his son as a gift in last December. And that has not been confirmed by law enforcement yet, but CBS News is also reporting, CBS News reports that that police and federal agents are investigating if the weapon was purchased as a gift in 2023 for the son. So we want to bring you the latest updates on this. We're going to take some comments and questions from you guys. And I am also going to, that was a pretty short press conference. In a few minutes, I will replay it again. So I will replay it again for you so you can hear it. And we'll see what other developments come out as well tonight in this breaking news story. But the father has been arrested and again charged with, let me just show you again what he is charged with. 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, 8 counts of cruelty to children. The son, Colt Gray, has currently been charged with 4 counts of felony murder. I assume there might be more charges coming for him. And let me just see if I have any updates to give you from the last couple minutes besides that. The suspected shooter's mugshot came out today, in case you haven't seen that. Let me just show you that real quick. Really quick here, and then I'll take some comments from you guys. B&O News Live posted the mugshot. That is the mugshot of Colt Gray, the 14-year-old who is the suspected shooter at Appalachia High School. And there may be a mugshot tonight of the father. So some of our viewers are commenting on this timeline of if it was bought in December of last year. May of last year, May in 2023, is when the FBI received a tip that someone in a Discord chat had threatened to do a school shooting at a middle school. And the FBI, law enforcement, had information which suggested that person might have been Colt Gray, and who ended up doing the shooting yesterday, according to law enforcement. And local Jackson County Police went to talk to Colt Gray and his father last May about this tip they got that someone had on Discord threatened to shoot shoot up a middle school. And when they talked to the father said he didn't know how to use Discord, and the son denied having made such a statement. But that was last May. And so the CNN report says that the father last December bought the rifle used by the son in the school shooting yesterday as a Christmas gift or as a holiday gift. Now that hasn't been confirmed by authorities, but that's what CNN is reporting. So if it's true that the father bought the son the gun as a holiday gift last December, that would be about 7 months after police came to their house to interview them over information they had that suggested that the son may have made a threat to do a school shooting online. Now, to be clear, no, the police could not determine whether the son did that. So no further action was taken going down that road. But I believe the FBI did say that they informed. How did they put it yesterday? I'll tell you what they said. They did say that Jackson County alerted local schools for continued monitoring of Colt Gray. But again, the police could not determine whether he did it or not. So I'll give you some more specifics on that shortly. I actually have the report that Jackson. I have the Jackson County Sheriff's Office report. But anyways, let me take some comments from you guys, and I'll replay that press conference in a second. So again, the father has been arrested and charged with the crimes you see there: 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, 8 counts of cruelty to children. Andrew says, do we know how he got the weapon in the school? No, we don't know that yet. Baba Fox says, just sad all around. Sally says the mother didn't live in the home. I read today, I don't remember if this was in a police report or a different article, but I did read today that the mother, I believe in the police report it said this, that the mother and father had split up, I want to say maybe in 2023 or maybe shortly before then, and that the mother had taken I think the 2 daughters had gone with the mother, if I have that right. Let me just check here. I'm looking at the police report from Jackson County, which I obtained from them. Let me just see here. Do I have this here? Let's see. It might have not been in that. It might have been in a different, it might have been in an article I read. I thought it was in here, though. But I remember reading that. Oh, hold on. Is it at the end? Let's see. Maybe it's the thing at the end. Blah, 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 blah. Yes. So the father had told police in 2023 that when his family got evicted from their prior address, he had divorced from his wife. She took the 2 younger kids, and the father took the 13-year-old son, and he had moved. Ronald Kame, our viewer, thinks the problem is that the father had no rules for the son of when and where the son could handle the gun. In the police report from last May of 2023, the police, when they went to the house with the father and the son there, the father told police that he has firearms in the house, that they are hunting rifles. He said Colt, who was then 13 years old, was allowed to use the rifles when supervised, but does not have unfettered access to them. So the father did tell police last May that Colt, as a 13-year-old, was allowed to use the rifles when he was supervised. One of our viewers, Michael Donahue, says, second-degree murder, how? I am not a lawyer. I don't know what is required for that in Georgia and how the evidence suggests. I could look it up, although I don't want to start playing amateur lawyer. But that is something where, I would expect at some point we will hear an explanation of why the prosecutors believe second-degree murder charges are appropriate. 2 counts of second-degree murder. I don't know if I can quickly find what the second-degree murder crime requires in Georgia. And there might be like different versions of it in different, So, yeah, I'm not going to get into it right now. but it's a perfectly good question. Did the father help him plan it? So, what the authorities said in the press conference was that the charges were related to the father knowingly allowing the son to possess the weapon. That is what they said. They didn't get into details. What does it mean? In what way? What specifics do they mean about the father knowingly allowing the son to possess the weapon? Is that knowingly given? Does that knowledge include some knowledge of what the son wanted to maybe do with it or not? Or is it just a general knowing that the son had access to the weapon? Didn't say. Didn't get into the details there. Thank you, by the way, to all of our moderators who are here moderating for us right now. Ruth Krafasi and Linda Belk and Larry on X, and over there on Twitch. A Moment of Lovely, Big Ball of Yarn, LB Prairie Dawn, I Got That Fire, McBritches. Thank you. And thanks on Twitch for your support, Ivory John. And also I want to thank our Facebook moderators. And I want to get you some more updates here. Hang on a second here. You can see this. Father of Georgia school shooting suspect arrested on charges including second-degree murder. That is from Associated Press. In a couple minutes, I will replay the press conference in a couple minutes for you, so you can see it again. Thank you, by the way, to Charlotte Webb and Margaret Riley and Christina Neal. They are all on Facebook moderating. Yes, so the quote from the press conference, you can see here from the GBI director, is, "These charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son Colt to possess a weapon," said the GBI director, Chris Hosey. "His charges are directly connected with the actions of his son and allowing him to possess a weapon." That's what the GBI said. Hang on one second here. Give me one moment. Oh, and here is the mugshot right here. There is the mugshot of, I'm going to download this so I can show it in a better way so it's not cut off. Oops, hang on a moment. Give me one moment here. Give me one moment. I am pulling it up on the screen right now. Oh, by the way, that is the rental home of Colt Gray right there from AP. All right, let me download this. Thanks for your patience as I do this. Okay, we got to do this one. Get all of these off. We want to do right there, right those two. All right. Downloading now. All right, now I'm going to pull up those photos for you. Here is the photo of, here's the mugshot of Colt Gray, right here. There it is right there. That is from the AP article. That is the mugshot of Colt Gray. And then this is going to be the house, the rental home, where Colt Gray lived right there. These are from Associated Press. Oh, I have an information about second-degree murder. Look, guys, look at this. We have information about the second-degree murder charge from Associated Press. So remember, the father has been charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. In Georgia, Second-degree murder means the person has caused the death of another person while committing second-degree cruelty to children, regardless of intent. Now, of course, you have to get into what is the legal definition of cause in Georgia and second-degree cruelty, which I don't know. Anyway, second-degree murder is punishable by 10 to 30 years in prison, while malice murder and felony murder carry a minimum sentence of life. Arrest warrants obtained by the Associated Press accuse Colt Gray of using a semi-automatic assault-style rifle in the attack, which killed 2 students and 2 teachers and wounded 9 other people. The teen denied threatening to carry out a school shooting when authorities interviewed him last year about a menacing post on social media, according to a sheriff's report. Conflicting evidence on the post's origin left investigators unable to arrest anyone, the post said. Jackson County Sheriff Janice Mangum said she reviewed the report from May 2023 and found nothing that would have justified bringing charges at the time. She said, "We did not drop the ball on this," she told AP in an interview. "We did all we could with what we had at the time." When a sheriff's investigator from neighboring Jackson County interviewed the father last year, his father interviewed, I don't know if it's the father or the son. His father said the boy had struggled with his parents' separation and often got picked on at school. The teen frequently fired guns and hunted with his father, who photographed him with a deer's blood on his cheeks. He knows the serious of weapons and what they can do and how to use them and not use them, Colin Gray said, according to a transcript obtained from the sheriff's office. The teen was interviewed after the sheriff received a tip from the FBI that Colt Gray, then 13, had possibly threatened to shoot up a middle school tomorrow. The threat was made on Discord, a social media platform popular with video gamers. The FBI's tip pointed to a Discord account associated with an email address linked to Colt Gray, the report said, but the boy said he would never say such a thing, even in a joking manner. Okay, so, all right, maybe I will show for you guys who are just joining us. So the father has been arrested. And I know some people just joined the stream. There is a short press conference that we saw on this. So why don't I replay the press conference for people who didn't see it. It's short. It's not long. And I am going to put that on the screen now and replay it. And then I'll take some more of your comments and questions after. So we'll put that up there. I need to have it not say live because it's not live. Replay. Winder, Georgia. Okay. So here is the press conference we just saw a few minutes ago. And by the way, thank you to our new member Angie and DSnow1 and BDK from Australia and MJash01. All right, here we go. Here is the news conference for those who didn't see it, where they announce the arrest of the father of the presumed shooter.
Good evening. We wanted to come back and update you on the progress of the case this evening. I appreciate you being here. In coordination with the District Attorney Brad Smith, the GBI has arrested Colin Gray, age 54, in connection to the shooting here at Appalachia High School. Colin is Colt Gray's father that was arrested yesterday. He is charged with the following: 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Mr. Gray, these charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon. This is a very difficult time, as we know, for students and parents, and so many I know of students and parents here in this county and around this state are afraid. You all have likely seen reports of incidents of other students making threats today at various schools around our state. In each of these incidents, police, law enforcement took charges, they made arrests, acted very swiftly, as we take incidents like this very seriously across this state. This is a time for all of us as a community and a state to come together and remain vigilant. Students must be supported and encouraged here in this community and across the state to contact a member of their school faculty with any and all concerns of suspicious activity that they may see. Local, state, and federal law enforcement will continue to work together around the clock in relation to this incident here and any other incidents that come up around this state that raise concern to the safety of our students, faculty, and citizens here in the state of Georgia. Additionally, Colt Gray, that was arrested yesterday for this incident, has now been charged with 4 counts of felony murder. And again, we will continue to work tirelessly to complete this investigation as we move forward. I will go ahead and mention to you, and as I say sometimes, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you. As y'all all know, that this is a murder investigation. It is a very serious investigation, one that we take serious, one that we will continue to diligently work on and be very thorough with it, with the GBI and our local partners here. So you'll have to forgive us if we don't answer a lot of the questions that you ask. I know you have many, and we wish we could answer many of them for you, but we still obviously want to maintain the integrity of this investigation because it has a long way to go for it to be finished. Again, I also want to remind everyone that we need to continue to pray and support the victims that were involved here, the school teachers, the faculty, the students, obviously those that lost their lives, their families, and those that were injured. So I'd like to call on the sheriff to come and give you a brief update on the status of those that were injured from yesterday's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Hosey. As Director Hosey said, I'd like to say that obviously we're lifting up those families. Our hearts are hurting for them, our kids, our students, our teachers. But the 9 injured, I am very happy to say will make a full recovery. And that's a testament to the response that we had, in my opinion, the response that medical staff responded with, in my opinion, and we're very happy to say that they will make a full recovery after that response. Again, please lift up our community. Please keep these children, these teachers. We call them teachers, but I call them heroes. We met with them today. Emotions are very high, obviously, but we told them that we love them. We love our teachers and what they do, and we're very happy at the fact that they stood in the gap between evil to protect their children, and we want to include them in the lives that were saved as well yesterday. But I wanted to report to you that all 9 people that are injured will expect to make a full recovery. Thank you.
Are they still in the hospital?
Several of them are still in the hospital. Some have been released.
And Director, can you please explain, did the father actually give the gun to the suspect?
Well, I'm gonna leave it as how I mentioned it in the release, that he knowingly allowed him to possess the weapon.
Director, can you tell us about how the arrest happened today? Did he turn himself in? Did you guys make contact with them? How did that go with investigators this afternoon with that arrest?
I'm honestly not familiar with the details. All I can tell you is that he is in custody at this time.
And is it likely anyone else will be arrested in this case, or is that still just you?
It's difficult to say at this point in time. We're obviously still investigating this, following all leads, all evidence, and we'll set to see where it takes us as we progress forward.
Do you believe that the arrest should have been made sooner?
The arrest was made when we had the probable cause to make the arrest.
Do we know when his first court appearance will be?
I'm not sure. No,
Did
ma'am.
the dad bring him to school?
I'm not sure about that either. I'm sorry.
Are you able to explain the charges and how he has more charges than the suspected shooter?
Not in great detail. The biggest thing, as I mentioned earlier, is that he is in custody at this point in time. His charges are directly connected with the actions of his son and allowing him to possess a weapon.
Sheriff, will he be housed in your facility? Is that where he'll be held? How does that move forward?
He'll be held in the Bexar County Detention Center.
Will his mugshot be available tonight, or will it take some time until tomorrow to get it?
It depends on how long it takes us to book him, but if it's available, we can get that to y'all tonight.
Sheriff,
If not tomorrow.
You said some good news that some have been released. Do you know the numbers of patients that are released, victims?
I don't want to speak to that because I don't know the exact number, but I know that I want to just report that all 9 would make a full recovery and be able to leave the hospital.
Sheriff, for those 9 people that were injured, do you know if they were a mix of students and teachers or staff, or are they just students?
I believe 2 were adult teachers, and the rest, which would be 7, would be students.
Director, can you explain whether there's precedent for charges like this?
I'm sorry.
Can you explain whether there's precedent in the state of Georgia as far as the GBI is concerned for the father or parent to be charged for the crime?
I don't have any details on any history of it, but I would venture to say it's not something new.
Can you tell us about the evidence that led to these charges?
No, ma'am. That's part of the ongoing investigation. I apologize.
Sheriff, after all this time with him being able to talk with investigators, you were pretty strong yesterday. We were saying this was an evil act. It was very sad, obviously, but looking back at what the 14-year-old's been able to say to investigators over the last 24 hours, can you reflect on just what this community is facing after what he allegedly did at this school?
What we're facing, heartbreak. We're heartbroken. A young person brought a gun into a school, committed an evil act, and he took lives, and he injured many other people, not only physically but mentally. But I'm proud of Bexar County. I'm proud of our superintendent. I'm proud of these teachers. I'm proud of these schools. And I'm proud of where I live. And we'll get past this. If you see behind me, up here on the hill, we got a vigil going on at our flagpole. I welcome you to go see those kids and those young people that are hurting.
Director, can you please explain whether you're still expecting more charges?
I think I answered that earlier. Our investigation is still ongoing, so we'll see where things go with our investigation, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much. That's all we have for tonight. Continue to follow the GBI on X. Please monitor our website. We did not anticipate another update, but as you can see, it's fluid. Things are developing. Again, we appreciate your patience and your support and your continued prayers for the victims.
Okay, so that was the press conference again. And in case you are not aware of it, CNN reported earlier this evening, earlier today, that they are reporting that the father of the shooter, who has now been arrested, they're reporting that he bought the gun that was used in the school shooting for his son last December, in 2023 December, as a holiday present. Again, CNN reports that the gun, which is described as an AR platform-style weapon by law enforcement, the gun, according to CNN, the father told investigators that he bought the gun for his son as a holiday gift last December. That has not been confirmed yet by authorities. And as you heard, the authorities said that he has been charged basically because they say he knowingly allowed his son to possess the weapon. You know, something I saw, the New York Times said that, the New York Times says that when Ethan Crumbley's parents were charged in Michigan, the mother and father of Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley, the New York Times says that was widely seen as the first instance in the country where parents had been charged after a school shooting. if I can find something. About that. But again, the Times says that is wide. Again, I'm just quoting. They say it is widely seen as the first such instance in the country. Yeah, also, yes, I am looking at an article by AP from April that says the Crumbleys were the first parents convicted in a U.S. mass school shooting. I don't know if they were the first ones ever charged. The article says convicted. And they were accused of not securing their gun at home and acting indifferently to signs of their son's deteriorating mental health, according to the article. I do not know if there were others charged. Let me check some comments from you guys. Is the mom in trouble too, or just the dad? So I have no idea. You know, it's not clear if there will be other charges. According to an interview that the father did with law enforcement last year, the father and the mother split. The father had said in that interview, which was done in 2023, that I'll actually tell you exactly what he says because I have the report from police here. The father had said that when his family got evicted from their prior address, he had divorced from his wife. She took the two younger kids and that his 13-year-old son and he had moved. So I don't really know how involved how often he talked to his mother, how involved his mother was in his life. I have just no idea. But it appears from this interview that they weren't living together, although I don't know that for sure. And we talked about this a little earlier today, but I wanted to mention it because it's about the family stuff, in case you haven't seen it. The Washington Post had an article. Georgia school shooting suspect struggled with mental health, aunt says. Now, I know some of you last night had seen some post on Facebook that you believe to be posts by the aunt of the presumed shooter, Colt Gray, and I didn't see those. Well, I couldn't confirm that those were legit. A number of you said that her name online was Annie something Brown, which I didn't remember from last night. But the Washington Post said they did talk to his aunt, Annie Brown, and they say that the 14-year-old arrested after a mass shooting at Georgia's Appalachian High School had been begging for months for mental health help before he allegedly carried out a deadly attack Wednesday, according to an aunt of the suspect. He was, quote, begging for help from everybody around him, the aunt, Annie Brown, told the Washington Post. The adults around him failed him. Brown, who lives in Central Florida, declined to elaborate on the teen's mental health challenges, but she said she tried from afar to get him his help. She said his struggles were made worse by a difficult home life. He and his family had previous contacts with the local child services department, according to the GBI. She said that in January, she helped him enroll at a different middle school, Heyman Morris Middle School in Barrow County, so he could finish 8th grade following a period of absenteeism. He had just started 9th grade at Appalachian High School this year, she said. Now, I can't confirm any of what she is saying here. I'm just passing this along. Oh, hold on a second here. Yeah, one of our viewers mentioned, Evelyn in Maine mentioned something in the Washington Post. So, the Washington Post has an article that was written in 2021, which says that it talks about 4 instances when adult owners of weapons that were used in school shootings faced some punishment for not having locked them up. But then again, the Associated Press said that the Crumbleys were the first parents convicted in a U.S. mass school shooting. So maybe there's a distinction about what they're charged with in certain cases. I don't know. Linda thinks the kid's mental health issues was the main danger. Do we know where he got the gun from, says Matt Steed. No, we do not know where he got the gun from yet. Well, it seems likely that it's from his father, because they haven't said this specifically, but they did say in the press conference that the father is being charged because he knowingly allowed the son to possess the weapon. That doesn't say for sure the weapon came from the dad, although, as I mentioned, CNN is reporting that the father gave the son the weapon as a holiday gift last December. That has not been confirmed by authorities yet. Orla Connolly thinks, sorry, I was going to read Orla's comment, that I don't want to, it flew by here and now I can't find it. So I don't want to misrepresent what Orla said. Let me try to get you some more updates here about this story. Oh, I saw something else that I hadn't seen before that I wanted to mention. Give me 1 second. I will tell you about that. Where was this report I just saw? The Washington Post reports that a student said the suspected shooter sprayed gunfire indiscriminately into classroom. And they interviewed a student, a 14-year-old, who said that in his classroom, the shooter didn't go in the classroom, but sprayed it with gunfire. And the student said that he was just aiming at anybody that was in front of him. He said, no, sorry. The student said he didn't think the shooter was aiming. He was just shooting at anybody who was in front of him. Our viewer, Keith Jones, says Colt Gray rode the bus to school yesterday. How did the school administrators miss the gun? Did he take the bus to school today? Maybe that might have been reported somewhere. I don't recall seeing it, but I'm not saying it's not true. And You know, about about the 2 charges of second-degree murder that the father is charged with. So, just to update you on this, I have a couple descriptions of that. In the AP article, it says that in Georgia, second-degree murder means the person has caused the death of another person while committing second-degree cruelty to children, regardless of intent. It is punishable by... That's a little confusing. Involuntary manslaughter, which he's also charged with, means someone unintentionally causes the death of another person. So he is charged with two counts of second-degree murder. That does not require intent. 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, which I guess does not require intent to kill. And then I don't know about the cruelty to children one, how the law is written and what that requires. You know, in court, the prosecutors would have to say, here's what the law forbids, and this is why his conduct is a violation of that law. Oh, right. So Blue Lazarou says, so that the second-degree murder would presumably be the 2 children, related to the 2 children, the 2 14-year-olds who were killed, not the 2 adults. Because according to that article here, hold on, which I was just showing you here, where'd it go? It said second-degree murder means, or at least maybe this is one definition of second-degree murder in Georgia, the person has caused the death of another person while committing second-degree cruelty to children. So maybe that's why there's 2, not 4 of those, regardless of intent. But the New York Times said that in Georgia, second-degree murder applies when a person is accused of causing a death while committing cruelty to children in the second degree, which involves criminal negligence. So what the Times is saying is that there can be cruelty to children where you don't have to attack the child, but you can be, I guess, negligent in a way that causes suffering to the child. So negligence is when you fail to take action that would be expected, that would be reasonably expected that you take. This is not a legal definition, but the general idea of negligence is when you don't do something that you're supposed to do, and you don't take basic precautions. So, as I understand what the New York Times is saying is that the second-degree murder charge would apply when you're causing a death while committing cruelty to children in the second degree, but you don't have to be physically assaulting the children to commit cruelty to children. You could maybe have been negligent in not doing something that would be reasonably expected of you that would protect the children. So maybe that's the idea, is that, by allowing, that's a way that you could interpret his allowing the son to have a gun as being negligent in a way that, caused suffering to the children or put the children at risk, which maybe, I assume prosecutors would argue something like that, and that's why it counts as cruelty to children. Let's see here. The Washington Post also says investigators are still seeking to determine how the shooter obtained the AR-15 style rifle. So we don't know that yet. Okay, let me take some more comments from you guys here. But wow, I mean, I did not know if they were going to charge one or both of the parents, but that was fast. That came really fast. I mean, literally the next day after the school shooting, they have now charged the father. I'm not going to show unconfirmed pictures of the father of the Colt Gray. I'm just not going to do that. So our viewer, thank you, Veronica Worthington, sent me an article from the New York Post where they basically posted and talked about some of the Facebook posts that were apparently posted last night by an aunt of the shooter. And I'm not going to read all of these on the air, but I'll post a link to the article if you want to see it. I'll post a link in the chat. Was there a manifesto? We haven't heard about anything like that yet. But one thing she said, if these posts were legit, I mean, the name on the Facebook post was Annie Polhamus Brown. And I know that Annie Brown is the name of the aunt that the Washington Post talked to. And the name Polhamus, I believe, is the last name of one of his grandparents, of a grandfather that I saw interviewed. So it sounds like the name is the right name. She said, one of the things she said is that, she said just on Facebook, apparently last night, is just check yourself before you speak about a child that never asked to deal with the bull blank he saw on a daily basis. She did not elaborate in those posts on the apparent issues she claimed the teen had endured. And then, okay, I hadn't seen this also. So the Atlanta Journal-Constitution had an article today. Thanks to Andrea for letting me know. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution has an article today, and the title of the article is School Shooting Suspect's Mother Had Criminal Record Going Back 17 Years. Hang on a moment here. They say, again, I don't know the specifics on this. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution says his mother is named Marcy Gray and that she has faced prosecution in several counties accused of domestic violence, drug possession, property damage, and traffic violations, and faced civil fraud claims related to a vehicle purchase and was in jail as recently in April. That's according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They talk about the mother. So I don't really know the details of all that. But, you know, it sounds like certainly that there were some issues and there were some problems at home. And we know that the mother and the father told the police last year that he and the mother had split up when they had been evicted from their home at the previous residence. And the mother took two of the children and the son went, Colt went with the father. Wow. if you missed it, the father has been arrested and charged, Colin Gray, with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Does Colt Gray have siblings? Well, I believe he would have at least 2, because I believe he has 2, because when the father said that when they got divorced, the mother took 2 children. I think they're younger. Yeah, there are 2 younger siblings, apparently. Oops, sorry. I was trying to show you that. Trying to show you this. There. Why does that keep disappearing? There. Randy J says this father should have got his son counseling and help instead of a weapon. How similar is this to the Michigan case? That I can't tell you off the top of my head. I would have to look up, what they were charged with, and I'm just not sure. They were charged with, hang on here, I'll tell you in a moment. I'm looking here on Wikipedia if it says. Four counts of involuntary manslaughter for their failure to secure the gun that Crumbley used in that shooting. It is a rare instance of parents being charged in relation to a school shooting. The Wikipedia says James and Jennifer Crumbley were the first U.S. parents to be charged with having responsibility for a mass school shooting by a child. But, so I don't look like I can't say, because there's the charges in Michigan and there's the charges in Georgia. The question is, what is the conduct that they are being charged for? So we don't know specifics. I'm not familiar with the specifics of the Crumbley case, and also I don't know the specifics here. All we heard from the GBI was that the charges are relating to the father knowingly allowing the son to possess the weapon. So we don't know the specifics of the specific story that the prosecutors are going to tell about what happened and how he got the gun and who and what the supervision was and what the father knew and all that stuff. We just don't know. Moments in Trading thinks this is only the second time a parent has been charged. Quick thanks to Darcy McIlvaney, by the way, and Get to No Stop, who says if a parent that is a parent that buys their car responsible if the kid drinks and drives and kills someone? So my guess is that there's just differences in the law. And I don't know the specifics on all of that. I know what you're saying, but if I would assume if a parent bought like a 13-year-old a car and then a 13-year-old ran over somebody in the car, there might be different criminal responsibility than if a parent bought a licensed driver a car, you know? So it may have something, you know, it's, I don't know the law in every state, but maybe ages on things can make a difference. I just assume there's legal differences there. And whether you think there should be legal differences is up to you. I don't know the distinctions the law makes about in Georgia about different things that parents might buy their kids. Thank you, Get to Know Stop. So I think it's an interesting question, but I do not know enough about the law to know the distinctions in Georgia. Thanks, Get to Know Stop. I appreciate that. And also Ted. Ted says, I'm so sad for all these people. Yeah, it's just terrible. And, you know, we have 4 people dead and 9 people injured. Fortunately, all 9 people are expected to make a full recovery, according to the police tonight, which is incredible. But you know, 4 people killed, and you hate this feeling like it didn't have to happen. Thanks, Noah, who asked if classmates have said anything about the shooter. There are a number of classmates who have been interviewed and said that the shooter was quiet, that he didn't talk much, that he missed school a lot. I'm not up to date on more interviews that came out today, so I can do a check and see. I don't know of all the interviews that have been done with different students. I mean, those were ones we had seen like last night. I saw a couple ones like that. I haven't seen anything today that was very different from that, but again, I haven't. There very well might be a lot of different interviews that I missed today. But there was like an interview, you know, that I know a lot of you are aware of it. But CNN interviewed a student who was in a class with him, who said that he was quiet. He didn't hardly talk. When he talked, it was like one-word answers. And a lot of the time, most of the time, he either wasn't in class, or he wasn't in school, or he would skip class. That's what one student said. Let's see here. Oh, Wickedest Witch says we need a fact check if yesterday was the first day at school for Colt Gray. Well, NBC News reported today, and again, I don't know if this is true. Oh, I have an update for you, by the way, on something. NBC News had reported that it was his second full day at that school. The school started on August 1st. By the way, NBC News also says that the Crumleys were the first parents to ever be prosecuted and convicted for a school shooting committed by their child. And the prosecution argued in that case, according to NBC News, that the father bought his son the gun that was used in the shooting, and that both parents failed to secure the weapon or take steps that could have prevented the shooting. Oh, I didn't see this. NBC News also reported that the school shooting suspect had shown interest in previous mass shootings, particularly the 2018 attack in Parkland, Florida, said 2 senior law enforcement officials briefed on the investigation. I had not seen that before. That's from Tom Winter. That information came from searches conducted in the investigation, says Tom Winter. Sorry, I didn't get to, I wanted to get the point about the first day of school or whatever, second day of school, but I just saw that. I hadn't seen that before. That was reported today by NBC News. Sorry, I just want to. And then, where is the thing about the first day of school or second day of school? Yes. So NBC News reported that this was his second full day of school. This is according to the Barrow County Sheriff. Now, that's a little confusing because, for example, there was an interview with a student on CNN last night where she was talking about her experiences with him. And it seemed like from the interview that he'd been there more than 2 days. But let me just tell you what NBC News said. They said that the Barrow County Sheriff said yesterday was his first real day of class. NBC News said, according to the Barrow County Sheriff, the Barrow County Sheriff said he was a brand new student to Barrow County Schools. He had enrolled about 2 weeks prior. This was his second day at school. He had been before and left early on that day, and this was his first real day. So, I mean, the sheriff did say he enrolled 2 weeks ago, so maybe it's the case that he had stopped in sometimes before or something like that over the last couple of weeks. I don't know. You know? But that's according to NBC News. I'll post a link to that article in the chat, and then you can look at it if you want. It's a short thing. So I'm still confused on all of that. That doesn't seem clear right now. Wendy says parents need to keep their weapons secured and not accessible to minor children. Kenneth Garrow says you can't hand a child an AR and expect them to do right. A quick thank you to Mary Taylor. Thank you for your support of the channel, Mary Taylor. Also, thanks to Long John Daly. And, you know what I wanted to mention again, because I did mention it yesterday. I wanted to mention the GoFundMe link in case anyone is interested in that. There is a GoFundMe page where GoFundMe is gathering verified fundraisers. It's a GoFundMe page. They say our trust and safety team will continue to update this page with more fundraisers as they are verified. So these are some different fundraisers that they say are verified. I will post a link to this in the chat as well. Oh, I saw this. So some of you, I think, have had some questions on this. Washington Post came out with an article, what it means for the Georgia shooting suspect to be charged as an adult. In Georgia, state law allows for people as young as 13 to get charged as adults if they commit certain crimes such as murder. Authorities said they would do so in the case of 14-year-old Colt Gray. Charging the suspected shooter as an adult, not a minor, is a legal step that will significantly shape the coming court case, changing key elements of how the proceedings will unfold and potentially leading to a much harsher sentence if he gets convicted, according to legal analysts. Being charged as an adult is a completely different process, said Musa Ghanayem, a former public defender and prosecutor in Georgia. Attorneys in Georgia will said the change affects everything from how the case gets decided to what the defendant will experience before and during trial. Juvenile court is more informal, does not include a jury trial, and offers more limited sentencing, they said. The difference between the two types of court is huge, said Matthew McNally, a former prosecutor who is now a defense attorney in Atlanta. It's a game changer in criminal defense going from superior court to juvenile court. The Washington Post says every state nationwide allows minors to be charged as adults for certain crimes, though the particular rules vary by state, including how old defendants can be and whether officials get to make the decision about which cases go to adult court or juvenile court, rather than some automatically being shunted to one or the other. In Georgia, prosecutors have significant discretion in deciding whether to handle cases in adult court or juvenile court, attorneys said. Defense attorneys in the state can seek to have cases involving minors move from adult court to juvenile court, though analysts said they thought it would be unlikely for such a gambit to succeed in the Winder, Georgia case, given the severity of what happened. Holly Waltman, a defense attorney, said, Georgia has carved out special exceptions where you can be treated in a court system as an adult if you are deemed to have acted in a way that is perhaps egregious or adult-like. She said, moving a case involving a young client out of adult court and into juvenile is always the goal, but it's tough to do. She said she had a client who was 15 and was being watched by an older brother who took them to a friend's house. The 15-year-old was there when they ordered pizza, then robbed the delivery person. Her client never held a gun or pulled a trigger, she said. I tried my best to get that case moved down to juvenile court unsuccessfully, she said. Her client got 15 years in prison. So this was written before the father was charged, because they say it's too soon to know whether the legal fallout from the shooting would end with the suspected attacker, because now the father's been charged. Oh, here it is. On Thursday evening, they said they arrested the suspected shooter's father, and he was charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. There were an estimated 53,000 cases with people under age 18 charged as adults in 2019. Most of them involving 16 or 17-year-olds. According to the National Center for Juvenile Justice, that's the most recent estimate. Measures that allow cases to shift from juvenile court to adult court are called transfer laws, though some states use other terminology, according to expert Richard E. Redding, Associate Dean of the Law School at Chapman University, who has studied them. These measures spread widely across the country in the 1980s amid fears of juvenile crime, he said, and are still used a fair amount, albeit not used as often as they were in the 1980s and 1990s. This professor said it seemed like a good idea to give officials the ability to charge some minors as adults, but whether that should happen depends on the specifics of the case. The former prosecutor Ghanayem, the former prosecutor and public defender, said prosecuting minors as adults opens them up to difficult situations. A teenager who might not have even been to a dance yet could find themselves trying to decide whether to testify in court. the former prosecutor and public defender said. The trials also take longer and the procedures are more complex, he said. The outcome is also likely to be much more extensive, he said, because in a juvenile court, they can only sentence you for so long and certainly not for life. In a case like this, he said, they're seeking probably 4 life sentences plus additional charges. So he'll be facing 4 life sentences plus a couple hundred years. Anyways, I don't always read the whole article. I actually thought that was a really interesting article. I know people have talked about him being charged as an adult. So that's a little background there from the Washington Post about being charged as an adult. In case you missed it, CNN is reporting that the father bought the gun used in the shooting, which was an AR-style weapon, according to law enforcement. CNN is reporting that the father bought the gun for the son as a holiday gift last December, in December of 2023. That has not yet been confirmed by law enforcement. Sista Abi thinks the shooter's lawyers will speak on his behalf. And in case you missed it, Georgia has arrested the father of the teen suspected of killing 4 at school. That's a Reuters article there. He is charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. The GBI director said these charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son Colt to possess a weapon. Colt Gray has been charged with 4 counts of felony murder and would be tried as an adult, officials said. It remains unclear how the shooter obtained the weapon. Investigators have yet to comment on what motivated the first U.S. campus mass shooting since the start of the school year. Oh, and this talks about the Crumleys down here. It says, the charges against Colin Gray, the father, come after the April sentencing of the mother and father of a high school shooter in Michigan, believed to be the first time parents were held legally responsible for their children's action in a school shooting. The article says at the bottom there, oops, I don't know if you can see that. Hold on. The article says at the bottom there, in the Crumley case, Jennifer and James Crumley, the parents of Ethan Crumley, who in 2021 shot and killed 4 classmates at Oxford High School, were sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison after being convicted for manslaughter. The jury found the parents guilty of not securing guns in their home and of ignoring warning signs that their son was mentally disturbed. Experts and gun safety advocates said the Crumleys trials were an important step in holding gun-owning parents more accountable for school violence carried out by their children. Studies by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security have shown that around 75% of all school shooters obtain their weapons at home. All right, let me take some more comments from you guys on this, and I might end up showing the press conference one more time for people who joined the broadcast late. But wow, I mean, this was just surprising to hear this tonight, that this had happened, that they had charged him and arrested him already. I was surprised. I don't know about you guys. I was. Renee says, hold the parents accountable. Robert says this is huge news. Oops, I'll put this on the screen here. Also, in case you didn't see it, here is a photo of the suspected shooter right here from Associated Press, from the article on the screen. That is him. That is the mugshot of Colt Gray, 14 years old. Lady Bird Lee thinks the dad should definitely be held accountable. By the way, so the shooter is, I'm calling him the suspected shooter and the presumed shooter. So he has not been convicted in a court yet, just to be clear. Also, though, I will say I think CNN had reported that he told investigators, "I did it." Obviously the police went to the school and found him there. And I believe he was holding the weapon at the time when they found him. So there's lots of evidence here, but I just want to, be clear about that. Oh, regarding there's something more about the Parkland stuff that I just found. Hang on a second here. Okay, so CNN reported that Colt Gray, CNN says that the Barrow County Sheriff told CNN that Colt Gray told investigators, "I did it." And the sheriff said the boy was read his Miranda rights and was still talking. So who knows what he has told investigators. Also, I had told you that NBC News reported that the suspected shooter had showed interest in the Parkland, Florida school shooting. So CNN is also reporting that authorities searching the shooting suspect's home, found documents they believe he wrote referencing past school shootings. They were discovered in his bedroom and included references to the Parkland, Florida, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School 2018 massacre. I don't know what those writings said. The dad's name is Colin Gray. Strong Tower think the father broke no laws. Well, he is getting charged with a double-digit number of crimes because the Georgia Bureau of Investigation believes that they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he did break laws. But they will have to argue that in court unless they settle beforehand. Oom's World says if the parents are held accountable, does that affect the kid's conviction? I'm assuming no. I guess the idea would be like if you showed that some of it was the parents' fault, does that make the kid less culpable? It's an interesting question. I don't know if it came down to First of all, there might be just no leeway in terms of sentencing somebody if you're charged with murder in the way Colt Gray will be. For all I know, there's minimum life sentences or whatever. But it's an interesting question as to whether if the father had been shown to be negligent or something, could that affect? Is there any? I mean, just in general, how does behavior of parents toward a child affect the prosecution of a child? It's an interesting question. It's a legal question. I don't know the law, and I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what kind of factors are allowed to be talked about or seen as relevant during a trial or during sentencing. I just can't really answer. I understand the question. It's an interesting question, but I can't shed any light on that myself. Thank you to Oom's World. One of our viewers, Craig Brain Impact, thinks it depends on if he's charged as an adult. That's an interesting point. Maybe if you're charged in juvenile court, those things can have more of an impact. I do not know. Thanks, Ooms World, and also PZ Papa Zulu. Thank you. Is there a separate prison for juveniles? So if he's convicted and he goes to prison, I know he's tried as an adult. Would he go to juvenile prison or adult prison? It's a good question. I can't tell you. I don't know. Is there a world in which he's convicted as an adult but goes to juvenile prison? Ethan Crumley is okay, so I am seeing an article from December 2023, which was updated in April 2024, about Ethan Crumley from 12 News. And they say that in this article, they say that Ethan Crumley had been moved to a correctional center that is designated for youthful offenders who are convicted of adult charges. So, at least in Michigan, they have that. Okay? I don't know how it is in Georgia. Hang on a second here. Do you guys just... I know some people join the stream late. Do you guys want to see just one more time? It's short for the people who join late. The press conference where they talk about the charges. Again, it's not long, but I don't mind showing it for the people who didn't see it originally. Yeah, some people do want to see it. If you didn't want to see it, you don't have to watch it, of course. I'm not going to make you. I can't make you watch it, obviously. But why don't I show it one more time? This will be the last time I show it. A bunch of people want to see it, and then you can see it because I know people come in and out of the streams. Quick thanks to our moderators. Before I play it, let me just thank our moderators real quick. Ruth Krafasi is moderating. Thank you, Ruth. Linda Belk and Larry moderate for us on X. Beezy is moderating. Thank you. And over on Twitch, we have moderating A Moment of Lovely, Bastion Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, LB Prairie Dawn, I Got That Fire, Mick Britches. And we have moderating on Facebook, Charlotte Webb, Raven Lynn, I think maybe Christina Neal and Ronald Egnor are there. Sorry if I got that wrong, but they moderate for us anyway, so thank you. Oh, I got something about the mother. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I just saw some information about the mother, his mother, the shooter's mother. So before I show you the press conference, I want to show you this information I saw about the shooter's mother. Okay? So this comes from this Washington Post article, which has been updated. Georgia school shooting suspect struggled with mental health, aunt says. We looked at some of this before. But look down here. Look what it says. Where is it there? Right. It is unclear when Colt Gray, the suspected shooter, stopped attending Jefferson Middle School. The following year was one of legal turmoil for his mother, Marcy Gray. I think this is talking about last year. Yes, because this is last year, because this interview was 2023. If I'm reading this right, it's early November of last year. The following year was one of legal turmoil for his mother, Marcy Gray. So, who at that point had already, when police interviewed the father last May of 2023, the father said that months ago, I believe it was, him and the mother got divorced when they were evicted from their previous housing, and the mother took the two younger kids, and the son, Colt, went with, the 13-year-old son went with the father. Okay, so this presumably would be last November. In early November, Marcy Gray was arrested during a traffic stop and accused of possessing methamphetamine, fentanyl, and muscle relaxants. An arrest warrant signed by a deputy with the Barrow County Sheriff's Office also claimed she had a glass pipe used for the injection of narcotics and had concealed the identity of the Nissan Rogue she was driving by affixing a tag for a Nissan Kick. Court records show that Marcy Gray, 43, which the article says is the mother of Colt Gray, was ultimately not charged for drug possession and pleaded guilty to the license plate violation. That same day, she also pleaded guilty to a single count of criminal trespass, family violence, and criminal damage to property in the second degree, though details of the incident that led to those charges and when it took place were not revealed in publicly available court records. Marcy Gray was sentenced to 5 years in jail, with the first 46 days to be spent in confinement and the remainder on probation. As a condition of her probation, she was prohibited from having any contact with her husband, Colin Gray, except through a third party for matters concerning their children or divorce, according to her guilty plea. She was ordered to participate in a family violence intervention program and to abstain from drugs and alcohol. She was also ordered to pay more than $1,500 in restitution to Atlanta-based Van Winkle Construction. Colin Gray listed that company as his employer on his LinkedIn profile, but it was not immediately clear if he was still working there. Shane Hornbuckle, a company executive, did not respond to a request for comment. A related court order in April, which is, I believe, this April, noted that Marcy Gray was at the time in custody at the Ben Hill County Jail in Fitzgerald, Georgia, 3 hours south of Atlanta, where members of her family live. Court records in Ben Hill County were not immediately available, but a crime report published on January 3rd indicate that Marcy Gray, the mother, had been arrested by local police on charges of aggravated battery, theft by taking, criminal trespass, false imprisonment, and failure to appeal. Annie Brown, who is Colt Gray's aunt. We talked about that earlier. That's different. Now, Annie Brown, who's Colt Gray's aunt, is that the sister of the mother? I don't know that for sure. I don't want to get into Annie Brown. We talked about Annie Brown before. You can see Annie Brown, the aunt, an aunt of Colt Gray, said that he was begging for help from everybody around him. The adults around him failed him. So I don't know if she's a sibling of the father or the mother, Annie Brown. I would assume since the father's name is Gray, well, I don't know. So some of our viewers, LB Prairie Dong is saying Annie Brown is Marcy Gray's sister. I don't know that for sure. But anyways, the point here the larger point is, so this reporting is from the Washington Post, but clearly the mother was having some major legal issues just even recently, because as I read it, as my understanding from the timeline is that the stuff I just read to you was from November of last year, and this suggests that she was in jail in April. Okay, so I wanted to just pass that along because I hadn't seen that legal accounting of the mother, the recent legal accounting of what she had been charged with and all that. Is the mother still in jail, says Ulysses Ray? I do not know. I do not know. And it's, they separated, again, I don't know exactly when they separated, but in May of last year, of 2023, the father told police that they had separated when they were evicted from their previous housing, which I think had only been a few months before that. So, anyways, Isaiah says he didn't have a chance. By the way, none of this is to say that I am not trying to excuse anyone here. I'm not sitting here saying, it's that he is excused for shooting his classmates and teachers and people at the school. I'm just telling you, 'cause I just want to give you this background information because I hadn't heard it before. I certainly don't think it is good for children. Don't get me wrong. I can't imagine, these don't sound like great circumstances to be growing up in. And I would not be surprised if they impact children terribly if they happen like this. But I don't know the specifics of this case and why this person did this terrible action. But anyways. Okay. So, but I mean, that's a lot. Morph Retro says, got to be a way to prevent this stuff. I've seen so much of it. Yeah, John says, creds to the source Washington Post. Yeah, look, let me just say, so real quick, I'll just throw this in real quick. Many of you know that I have, I pay certain news providers for their content, like the live video and the articles, and I pay Reuters and AP for their articles, which I really like and I think are helpful. And we're kind of trying out the Washington Post right now. And I know some people will hear that name and say, oh, they're so biased and they're left-wing. And I agree that the politics of the Washington Post certainly lean left. But what I had said to you before is, look, a lot of their articles are not political in nature. This article I just was reading you is not a political article. It's not talking about the presidential election or something. It's just reporting on this on the shooting. And I agree with the viewer that in that article they did a good job of assembling that information. So I just want to point out that, you can have a newspaper that, say, in their editorial section is going to lead right or lean left. That doesn't mean every article in the paper is like that. And I think they have the reason I wanted to try out their content is I do think a lot of their articles do go in depth and have a lot of good reporting in them. Anyways, that being said, before I saw the information about the mother, which is really, it's troubling to really read all of that. I mean, that's not a 20-year criminal history. That's just, talking about last November and, maybe stuff that happened before that, but not that long ago. It's a lot of charges and court cases and being in jail and all that, and drug allegations and, so it's a lot. It's a lot. Anyways, let's watch. I said I was going to show you guys one more time the press conference. So for people who didn't see it, so let's one more time look at the press conference where they announced that the father had been charged, and I assume there's going to be a bunch more coming out about this. Like where the gun came from exactly. We know the father has been charged, but we don't really know details about the gun? Did the father, we've heard a report from CNN that the father bought the gun for the kid as a holiday present at the end of last year. Is that true? So certainly I think we're going to hear more about this. More details are coming out. But for right now, let me just put this on for the people who didn't see it. And we will play it. A quick thanks to Jeremy and Dolores Wilson and Chris from Florida, by the way. Okay, so we're going to play this now for you, and Shaggy for subscribing on Twitch. Okay, so here is the press conference where the authorities announced the arrest of the father of the school shooter, of the presumed school shooter, literally the day after the school shooting.
Good evening. We wanted to come back and update you on the progress of the case this evening. Appreciate you being here. In coordination with District Attorney Brad Smith, the GBI has arrested Colin Gray, age 54, in connection to the shooting here at Appalachia High School. Colin is Colt Gray's father that was arrested yesterday. He is charged with the following: 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Mr. Gray, these charges stem from Mr. Gray knowingly allowing his son, Colt, to possess a weapon. This is a very difficult time, as we know, for students and parents, and so many, I know, of students and parents here in this county and around this state are afraid. You all have likely seen reports of incidents of other students making threats today at various schools around our state. In each of these incidents, police, law enforcement took charges, they made arrests, acted very swiftly, as we take incidents like this very seriously across this state. This is a time for all of us as a community and a state to come together and remain vigilant. Students must be supported and encouraged here in this community and across the state to contact a member of their school faculty with any and all concerns of suspicious activity that they may see. Local, state, and federal law enforcement will continue to work together around the clock in relation to this incident here and any other incidents that come up around this state that raise concern to the safety of our students, faculty, and citizens here in the state of Georgia. Additionally, Colt Gray, that was arrested yesterday for this incident, has now been charged with 4 counts of felony murder. And again, we will continue to work tirelessly to complete this investigation as we move forward. I will go ahead and mention to you, and as I say sometimes, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you. As y'all all know, that this is a murder investigation. It is a very serious investigation, one that we take serious, one that we will continue to diligently work on and be very thorough with it with the GBI and our local partners here. So you'll have to forgive us if we don't answer a lot of the questions that you ask. I know you have many, and we wish we could answer many of them for you, but we still obviously want to maintain the integrity of this investigation because it has a long way to go for it to be finished. Again, I also want to remind everyone that we need to continue to pray and support the victims that were involved here, the school teachers, the faculty, the students, obviously those that lost their lives, their families, and those that were injured. So I'd like to call on the sheriff to come and give you a brief update on the status of those that were injured from yesterday's event. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Hosey. As Director Hosey said, I'd like to say that obviously we're lifting up those families. Our hearts are hurting for them, our kids, our students, our teachers. But the 9 injured, I am very happy to say will make a full recovery. And that's a testament to the response that we had, in my opinion, the response that medical staff responded with, in my opinion, and we're very happy to say that they will make a full recovery after that response. Again, please lift up our community. Please keep these children, these teachers. We call them teachers, but I call them heroes. We met with them today. Emotions are very high, obviously, but we told them that we love them. We love our teachers and what they do, and we're very happy at the fact that they stood in the gap between evil to protect their children, and we want to include them in the lives that were saved as well yesterday. But I wanted to report to you that all 9 people that are injured will expect to make a full recovery. Thank you.
Are they still in the hospital?
Several of them are still in the hospital. Some have been released.
And Director, can you please explain, did the father actually give the gun to the suspect?
Well, I'm gonna leave it as how I mentioned it in the release, that he knowingly allowed him to possess the weapon.
Director, can you tell us about how the arrest happened today? Did you turn himself in? Did you guys make contact with them? How did that go with investigators this afternoon with that arrest?
I'm honestly not familiar with the details. All I can tell you is that he is in custody at this time.
And is it likely anyone else will be arrested in this case, or is that still being...
It's difficult to say at this point in time. We're obviously still investigating this, following all leads, all evidence, and we'll set to see where it takes us as we progress forward.
Director, do you believe that the arrest should have been made sooner?
The arrest was made when we had the probable cause to make the arrest.
Do we know when his first court appearance will be?
I'm not sure, no,
Did
ma'am.
the dad bring him to school?
I'm not sure about that either. I'm sorry.
Are you able to explain the charges and how he has more charges than the suspected shooter?
Not in great detail. The biggest thing, as I mentioned earlier, is that he is in custody at this point in time. His charges are directly connected with the actions of his son and allowing him to possess a weapon.
Sheriff, will he be housed in your facility? Is that where he'll be held? How does that move forward?
He'll be held in the Barrow County Detention Center.
Will his mugshot be available tonight, or will it take some time until tomorrow to get it?
It depends on how long it takes us to book him, but if it's available, we can get that to y'all tonight.
Sheriff,
If not tomorrow.
You said some good news that some have been released. Do you know the numbers of patients that have been released, victims?
I don't want to speak to that because I don't know the exact number, but I know that I want to just report that all 9 would make a full recovery and be able to leave the hospital.
Sheriff, for those 9 people that were injured, do you know if they are a mix of students and teachers or staff, or are they just students?
I believe 2 were adult teachers, and the rest, which would be 7, would be students.
Director, can you
tell us
explain whether
about...
there's precedent for charges like this?
I'm sorry?
Can you explain whether there's precedent in the state of Georgia as far as the GBI is concerned for the father or parent to be charged for the crime?
I don't have any details on any history of it, but I would venture to say it's not something new.
Can you tell us about the evidence that led to these charges?
No, ma'am, that's part of the ongoing investigation. I apologize.
Sheriff, after all this time with him being able to talk with investigators, you were pretty strong yesterday. We were saying this was an evil act. It was very sad, obviously, but looking back at what the 14-year-old's been able to say to investigators over the last 24 hours, can you reflect on just what this community is facing after what he allegedly did at this school?
What we're facing, heartbreak. We're heartbroken. A young person brought a gun into a school, committed an evil act, and he took lives, and he injured many other people, not only physically but mentally. But I'm proud of Barrow County. I'm proud of our superintendent. I'm proud of these teachers. I'm proud of these schools. And I'm proud of where I live. And we'll get past this. If you see behind me, up here on the hill, we got a vigil going on at our flagpole. I welcome you to go see those kids and those young people that are hurting.
Director, can you please explain whether you're still expecting more charges?
I think I answered that earlier. Our investigation is still ongoing, so we'll see where things go with our investigation, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much. That's all we have for tonight. Continue to follow the GBI on X. Please monitor our website. We did not anticipate another update, but as you can see, it's fluid, things are developing. Again, we appreciate your patience and your support and your continued prayers for the victims.
Okay. So that was the press conference again. And again, charged with the charges, just to repeat, are just to list the charges again. It is oops. That is from AP right there. It is 2 counts of second-degree murder, 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. That is what the father is facing. Okay? So I think at this point, I am going to start wrapping up this live stream. But we very well could have more coverage of this story in the future, in terms of when updates come out. Okay, so if you missed it, we did a bunch of coverage. We've been on the air for a while tonight covering this, and there very well could be a bunch more news. If there's a bunch more news tomorrow or the next day, I'll come on. I'll do a stream and we'll do an update. We actually did a stream a little earlier today where we did an update on some of this, but I think I'm going to wrap up this live stream right now. So I do appreciate you joining us for this coverage. Big news: the father arrested and charged with multiple crimes. I'm not going to be doing a Hunter Biden stream tonight. Maybe we'll talk about it more on a future stream. I got off the air after doing the stream this afternoon, and I literally, my food is sitting there wasting away. I literally did not eat a bite of food because this happened so fast, and I had to rush on the air to cover this. So I'm not going to be able to cover Hunter Biden at this point, but maybe in the future we'll talk about it more. We talked about it a little on the previous stream today. Anyways, but I appreciate you being here for the stream, and thanks for letting me read your comments on the air, and thanks for sending me the updates that you have been sending me. And we'll keep covering this and doing more as more information comes out. I want to say thanks to our subscribe, follow the channel Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news here without an agenda. Agenda Free TV. And turn on the notifications. We have a notification system we set up because I don't know when, like tonight, I didn't know this was going to happen tonight. I can't tell you in advance when I'm coming on the air, but generally speaking, but we have a notification system. You can sign up for free. You'll get sent a notification every time we go live. We do this through Discord. There's a link. The mods will post a link to sign up for the notifications in the chat. That's a great way to not miss a broadcast. And you can find the link in the description of this video on YouTube and Facebook as well. But subscribe and sign up for the notifications and follow the channel. Huge thanks to our moderators. Our moderators are fantastic. And I really appreciate them being here. We could not have a chat rooms without them. BZ and Ruth Krafasi over there right now on YouTube. Thanks to all of our YouTube moderators who have been here. Linda Belk and Larry on X and on Twitch. Thank you so much. Moment of Lovely, Bash and Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, LB Prairie Dawn, I Got That Fire in Tariag. And on Facebook, we have Oliver Frost and Charlotte Webb, Margaret Riley, and all of our other moderators. Thank you so much to our moderators. And also thank you to everybody who donated to the channel. It's very kind of you. That is what keeps the channel on the air and allows me to get news content and stuff. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Jeremy, our new member on YouTube. I do want to mention the GoFundMe account, the GoFundMe link again for people who might be interested in. Sometimes people say to me, is there a place I can donate to like help the people impacted by this news event? So one thing you could do is GoFundMe has a page that they have put up where they are they are posting verified fundraisers related to the people and families affected by this school shooting. So I will post a link to this GoFundMe page if anybody wants to look at it in the chat. Okay. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, I will post updates when I'm not on the air on my X account, which is at Lookner on X. Oops, you can't see something. Why can't you see it? There. There. Let's try this again. There it is. That is my X account, at Lookner on X. And I will post there. You can follow there, at Lookner. Oh, father mugshot released? Hold on. Hang on a second here. I will show it if I have it here. One of the viewers, somebody said the father's mugshot was released. It's out. It is out. The father's mugshot is released. Hang on a second here. Let me show you here. Let me show you here. Brian Enton posted it. Hang on a moment. Via Brian Enton, that is the mugshot of Colin Gray, the father. Just came out a few minutes ago. All right, I reposted it on my X account. Starliner return, I very well might cover that. The Starliner return in some way. I don't know what parts of it I would cover because I think the whole thing takes like 6 hours. But we very well might cover that. Okay. Hang on a moment here. I will. Post updates on my X account at Lookner. Also, you can follow Agenda Free TV on X to find out when we're going live. I always post there before we go live at Agenda Free TV on X. All right, quick thanks. I want to thank our Discord moderators. Thanks so much to our Discord mods. And we do have a Discord chat. You can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. It's free. It's at the same link as the notifications link, so check that out. Thank you so much to our subscribers on Twitch for supporting the channel. People like Rocky Coast, Shaggy, Wall Street, Hot Rodacy, Aaron Weirdo, Relila, Blue Pip, and Sir Checks a lot. I Got That Fire. And all of our other subscribers over there. Daddy Dino, Big Ball of Yarn, Blatt 1982, and Jeff 1202. Thanks to and all of our other subscribers on Twitch. Thank you. And also our Facebook subscribers like Eve Richards, Diane Allworth, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, Robert Rial II, Jane Summers, Susan Priest Buchner, and all of our other Facebook subscribers. Thank you. And as I have said during our coverage of this, thoughts with the community of everybody in Winder, Georgia, and Barrow County, and everybody impacted by this terrible event. It's good to hear the 9 people, according to the 9 injured people, will incredibly recover fully, according to the police. But you know, I'm sure they have some of them. Sounds like we know they have gunshot injuries. So I wish them the best in their recovery, and And condolences to the families of the 4 people who were killed, the 2 students and the 2 teachers. Also, a quick thanks to our YouTube members like Barry and Noah and Eric Johnson, Mama of 6, Mythical, Kenneth Colton, Kristen Smith. Thanks for being members on YouTube and supporting the channel. J.K. Senar, Barry, Tony, Troy Dodd, Pickleball and Politics, Wickedest Witch, Think and Repent, Vao Jing, Dean R., Ronan, Aleppo Gambit, Cherry Sour, Marissa Pugliese, Diane Ware, Angie, Marsha Braga, Darren 175, Tweedledee, Ronald Kame, and Detective Wisdom and Randy J, and all of our other members. Thank you, J.K. Senar, Paula Faust, and others. Senon as well. Okay, so that is it for now. You've been watching our live breaking news coverage. Big breaking news tonight. I was not expecting this. The father of the presumed school shooter in Georgia arrested and charged with multiple crimes in relation to the school shooting. Georgia Bureau of Investigation says it is because he knowingly allowed his son to possess the weapon. More specifics on what the father did and where the weapon came from and all that to come from prosecutors. Okay, guys, that is it for now. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.